On today's show, we have two-time guest now, Michael W. Smith. Michael, thanks so much for taking the time and chatting with us.
You're so welcome. Good to be with you.
Yeah, so there's an interesting show that you are having this summer in June in Grundy County, Tennessee, at the Caverns. And I will be honest with you, we have never seen concerts played in a cave. So have you ever played here before?
Neither have I.
Okay.
I've heard all about it. Known some people who played in there, and it looks spectacular. You know,
Yeah.
It might be a little damp and cold, but I think it's going to be fun. And,
Well, it'll be June. It'll be nice and cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Definitely be an interesting one. So, Michael, tell us about your new EP, Worthy as the Lamb.
Well, this is an idea that I had last year when I did the Easter special with Franklin Graham. I did my portion from the Fisher Center at Belmont University, our brand new concert hall there that's fabulous on every level. It's unbelievable. And Franklin's preaching from Rome, but his only request going, I'd love if you just do a full orchestra, and I said, well, I could do that because I love orchestra. So let me just create something. And then he had only one very special request, and he asked if I would do In Christ Alone, which I've never recorded that song. And so I did. So I did an old spiritual hymn, Were You There? I did a remake of Above All. I did Agnus Dei, and then In Christ Alone. And so when we finished it, it turned out really so incredible. That whole thing aired all around the world. And we thought about all last year going, it could be a great EP for Easter next year.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think my only request I think I'd like to write one more song because I don't think we have enough songs about the cross in general. So I called Tony Wood, my favorite new co-writer who writes all these amazing lyrics, and asked him if he had a song up his sleeve. And 5 days later, he sends me this lyric, Crimson Dust. And it literally just took my breath away. And so I felt like I was holding something so precious in my hand and going, okay, Smitty, don't blow it, man. We got to deliver here. And so I really took my time because I've never written a song like this. I've never written to a lyric that has these little 2-3 words that are just, all of them are so, the imagery of all of those lines are, they're powerful. I mean, so I wanted to capture that musically, and that's the challenge of writing songs. Can you marry that music to a lyric? And so, but I'm really grateful how it turned out, and the response has been pretty overwhelming. And so that's on the EP. And then all the videos are out except Crimson Dust, and Crimson Dust will be on the Easter special that I did with Franklin. And we're both in Jerusalem 2 months ago, in the middle of a war. We're in Jerusalem doing an Easter special. So my backdrop to Crimson Dust is the Mount of Olives. Is my backdrop, and the old city to the left. So it was pretty surreal doing that song in that location. I'll never forget it.
Yeah.
Easter, I love Easter time. I love Christmas, but there's, the resurrection is what it's all about. And so
it all changed that day. Everything
that's
changed.
right. Yeah, I love Easter songs. Have you ever thought about covering the second chapter of Acts song, the Easter song?
Easter song? I grew up, I had every second chapter of Acts record.
Yeah.
And that was one of my favorites. I always had a hard time singing it because the range was just really, you got Matthew Ward, and you go, oh my gosh, he's singing so high. So I'd have to figure out a good key. I'd probably have to put a team together, but it's not a bad idea. I've thought about it numerous times. So maybe we do that next year.
Well, your latest version on your EP of the song Agnus Dei, I will tell you, Michael, that so many people are so touched by this song. And I think about recently we got to chat with Christian Stanfield with Passion. And I don't know if you know the whole story of what happened back in Atlanta with your song.
Oh,
How
I
was
know.
it?
I've
It
seen it.
wasn't even like supposed to happen. And then here 20 something minutes later into the song, God just wrecked the whole 55,000 people. And
Yeah.
I think it's a beautiful thing that God is using your music for his glory. So,
Yeah. I just think it's interesting that you got this song called Agnus Dei that a lot of young people think's a brand new song. It's actually 24 years or 34 years old.
hmm.
Not only Agnus Dei from the Go West Young Man record, but Place in This World from the Go West Young Man record. You've got a worship song that's resurging. You've got a pop song that I just got through redoing with For King and Country. And it's just, you can't orchestrate that stuff. I mean, I just stand back in awe of it all, just going, it's just crazy. I mean, it's crazy good,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I was just with For King and Country this morning. We were recording a video for Place, and somebody said something to me. Said, there's something that's obviously nostalgic about Place in This World, but when Place in This World came out, I think the world felt just a little safer. And I think when people hear it that know the song, they want to keep listening to it because I think it takes them back to that place it takes them back to a safe place. And I kind of never really thought of it until this gentleman brought that to my attention this morning. And I thought, gosh, you might very well be right about that analysis. So you might hear a little bit more of not only Agnus Dei, but of Place in This World as well. So
Yeah.
and I'm fine with that.
Yeah. Yeah. Because we were talking with Christian and he was just telling us about what happened in the moment. And so I said, wait a minute. I was like, so that wasn't even on your set list? He goes, no, not at all. It was just our team just started playing, like the chorus, and then it just God took over. And I was like, wow, that is so cool.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what has it been like working with Joel and Luke for King and Country with Place in This World?
Well, we had a blast. We had so much fun. All of us artists, it's like we see each other at an award show, whatever, and we say hi, and then we're off just kind of doing our thing. We got our families and got careers, and that's the only downside of just, I feel like we have this family and we never hardly ever get together. Because we all really have one goal in mind, is to make Jesus famous, and singing about him and singing to him through this music that we create. And so when they called up and told me about the movie and told me that Place in This World, there's a special place in the movie because of that song and Rebecca St. James, but it's a whole other story. And then so they said, we'd love to talk to you about maybe re-recording your song Place in This World, and would you do it with us? And so we all got together and talked about it, and then before you know it, we were in the studio and we just had so much fun. There was a lot of spontaneity and a lot of just, what if we tried this? What if we did this? And what if we did this? And I wasn't even supposed to even play the piano. And all of a sudden, then Ted T's got me in there playing some out of tune upright piano, And then Ted T's, he's on the floor, laying on the floor, like, oh my gosh, what just happened? It's kind of all the kind of crazy good stuff happened in the studio, which is fun. So yeah, it just kind of connected us. And now it's kind of like, I feel like I've got a couple of younger brothers a little bit here.
Yeah.
So we've had fun being together, and I'm excited about this movie. I think it's going to play well. So far it seems like the reception to the movie is pretty overwhelming. So hopefully it'll be life-changing for a lot of people that see it, but grateful that Place in This World is going to be on the soundtrack. And then you'll find out why we did Place in This World when you see the movie. You might have already seen the movie.
Yeah.
If you haven't, then you'll understand why.
Yeah. Well, that's really great. All these people are making movies about their life. For King Country, Bart, Mercy Me, Michael. I think it's time maybe the Irwin brothers make a movie about your life.
You know what? I've thought about it, and somebody's brought it up to me. I don't know if it's that compelling, but I think anybody who's got a salvation story, it's compelling,
Yeah.
I would just I don't want to do it just because I don't really have any interest in making my life a movie, my life story a movie.
Who would you have to play you?
I have no idea. I mean, there's probably somebody out there that's probably perfect, but if that ever happens, it's going to be years down the road because it's really not been on the table. Maybe this year, maybe I'll probably just tell my story. I can just, I mean, a lot of my story is written in books, believe it or not. It's pretty vivid and pretty detailed about me getting saved at 10 and me being a prodigal for 4 years and almost dying from a near drug overdose and making bad choices and almost died again. And then having this nervous breakdown in 1979, hit rock bottom, and God like laying on the kitchen floor with me for 3.5 hours and getting up off of that floor. And I've not been the same since. So I've got a miracle story. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And I mean, it's all that realness and seeing someone who, people have looked up to, and they see your story and actually because you can hear it, read it in a book all day long, but if you see it reenacted and stuff like that, I feel like there's like a lot of power in that. And just seeing someone like yourself, people being able to look at that story that God has done a complete 180 and used you, and to see like how your life has been like orchestrated by God is powerful. So I think you should look a little bit further into it now.
Yeah. Maybe I'll run up the flagpole with Andy over. We'll see. We'll see if there's any interest. We'll see.
Yeah.
So you have your Forever tour that's going on now, which will be with you on this Sunday. But what else do you have coming up this year, Michael?
Well, I'm out of the country 2-3 times. I'm going to be in Poland. I'm going back to Europe in June, and Glasgow and Wales and Denmark and Holland, and I'll be in Brazil in August. So we've got 3 great opportunities to be out of the country again. I just kind of feel called to the nations. I finish up the Forever tour at the end of April, and then I'm really sort of in the middle of all that. These tours are not super long, but kind of one of my goals is kind of to be back in the studio, and I've got some nuggets on my computer that I kind of feel like are good, and it's got some potential. So I kind of feel like this, sometimes as a songwriter, I've been doing this for a long time, and I kind of know when it's going to happen and when it's not. And there's something bubbling inside of my soul. And I actually just wrote something literally just 3 hours ago before I went to lunch that I got so excited about, just musically. So
yeah,
the fact that there's creativity coming out, then you know what, you got to pay attention to it. And if the faucet has been turned on, then let's get in there and hit record.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it is Easter season, but do you have any more Christmas music coming out this year?
Well, there's nothing coming out this Christmas. I'm almost positive, but you know what? Hey, you never say no, never. You never know. Tony Wood and I might write another song. But I certainly love what we've done in the past. I love this Freeze the Brain and Sometime Every Christmas, and he's a great poet, and I think I'll always write Christmas songs, probably the rest of my life. But knowing that I've got 5 Christmas albums, we probably don't need another Smitty Christmas album.
We do.
He's prophesying on me now. I love it. I mean, if I do, I think it'll be a year or 2. But you know what? Hey, gosh, you just never know. People do. People do albums different ways these days. Who knows? I could do an EP. I could do what if I have a special Christmas song that I absolutely love? Well, why would you not put it out? So we'll see how it plays out.
Awesome. Well, to wrap up, Michael, we'd like to see if you'd be willing to share something that God's been doing in your life recently that would help build our viewers and listeners' faith.
Oh my gosh, we could be here for an hour. I would just say this: Jesus has not changed.
Yeah.
He's still who he said he was. His promises are all true, and And even in the midst of the storms and the tribulations and all the stuff that we go through from time to time where we just feel like, oh God, where are you? He's not gone anywhere. And so I'm just reminded of that every day. No matter where my headspace is, sometimes I get distracted and I kind of lose my way a little bit going, gosh, what have I been thinking about for the last 8 hours? It could be a number of things. It could be a bit, glued to the news or glued to politics and stuff. Sometimes you got to turn all that off and just saturate yourself with the word. And that's what I just try to do every day. I just try to, even if I have to rush out the door, and not have time to look in the book, I've got my couple little apps. I got in my car and I just turn on the Psalms, and all of a sudden these little nuggets of scripture of just beautiful things that what God proclaims over us and how he feels about us. It's game changer. So I was just saying that if you can just go back and read those or listen to those, Michael W. Smith is not going to tell you anything new. He's going to probably tell you to remember.
Yeah.
And there's a lot to remember, and all that remembering stuff, it's so true. And what's the truth do every time? It sets you free.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's the mini sermon.
Yes.
That's the mini. Glad you didn't break out the Gen Z version, Michael, of the Bible.
No. Probably not going to do that.
That's out there, right?
Is it really?
It is. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh boy. Okay.
Yeah. Well, Worthy as the Lamb EP is out now. Get it downloaded. Is this going to be available on vinyl?
Probably not. I mean, right now there's no physical product. It's all just streaming for now. So
sure. Okay.
That could change. We'll see how it plays out.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate your time, Michael.
Okay. Thank you both very much. Appreciate it.